it's like we're a cappuccino, and a lot of us are just in the foam, right? But we have to get into the actual coffee. And so that's where it really resides, right? It's inside. It's in your core. It's like your essence, really.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Is there a technique that you use to help you to find language that describes how you feel? I talk to a lot of creative people, and I think they're mostly visual, so words are not their best friends sometimes. And we ask people, how do you feel about this thing? And what they say isn't what they have in their heart.
So it's important to be able to identify just feeling in general, right? And so when you think of doing something, how do you know that it feels good, right? Let's say dancing is enjoyable for you. How do you know that that is something that you enjoy, right? There's a feeling there, there's an emotion there. And so identifying what is a good feeling for you, then identifying what is a bad feeling for you. Not necessarily knowing what the feeling is, but the sensation of the feeling, right? Oh, this is a good sensation. Oh, this is a not so good sensation. And then we also have neutral, like a neutral state, which a lot of people aren't comfortable with. And so when they are in a neutral state, there's this sense that something is wrong or there's something off because they don't feel, to the extreme, the exaggerated pieces, right? So to start there, to just start to notice what is a good sensation, what isn't, what is neutral, is really helpful, because then you can start to say, okay, this is a strong sensation. This is maybe something that when I think of how I would react, I'm angry, right? And then there's a layer underneath. There's I like to say there's like a superficial emotion that we feel and we're able to name, right? Like anxiety, fear, anger. I'm not saying that they're not important emotions or valuable, but there's often an emotion underneath that emotion. So when you start getting into speaking, something that's really important is to become really specific. So you don't want to give others any chance to misunderstand you. And it's the same when you're starting to identify how things feel for you, because that is such a big part of communicating. So I would say to just begin by focusing on the sensation and then seeing if you can label. And if you're starting to see that labeling an emotion, it feels pretty vague or it feels very general, that means it's not specific enough to you. So then it actually requires that you kind of look back a little bit and dig a little deeper. I like to say to my students that it's like we're a cappuccino, and a lot of us are just in the foam, right? But we have to get into the actual coffee. And so that's where it really resides, right? It's inside. It's in your core. It's like your essence, really.
And if I'm feeling a sense of fear, a superficial emotion, then the inner emotion is what?
Hey everyone, Ricky here. So the next thing you would begin to do is start by picking things apart. So you felt fear, but what were you afraid of? What did you think was going to happen? Was I nervous something was going to be taken the wrong way? What's that emotion? Are you scared you're going to say something wrong? Does that make you feel stupid? So maybe you feel stupid, or maybe you feel invisible.
It's this process of questioning to start getting into more and more of the layers to get you deeper.
I see what you're doing there.
Do you?
It's very nice. Yes, I do, I think. You are excavating.
Yes.
You're teaching people how to have a conversation with themselves, because we feel something raw and we don't take the time to think about where it comes from to better understand ourselves. So we go through our life kind of totally unaware. We have these bursts of both positive, negative, and neutral feelings, and we can't trace it back.
So have a conversation with yourself the next time you feel strongly and take it back all the way to its core. Peel back those layers. Find out what the inner emotion that Mrs. Kane talks about. This is difficult and takes work, but anything worth doing is going to be difficult. That does it for today's video, everyone. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video.